We're on a new platform this week, so hopefully this recording comes out okay. But I know for a fact Evan's going to have a field day on this podcast because the film that we've just watched is a who's who to Hollywood in the 90s. If not just the 90s, just like in general. So this week's podcast will look back at True Romance, and I think I'm right in saying that both me and Evan hadn't seen this before, but Prog had.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And it's a shame Adam's not on because I know he's seen it prior as well. So yeah, I enjoyed the film. I'll say that much to begin with. It's
very cagey answer, isn't it?
Yeah,
He doesn't want to give too much away, does he?
Well, it's a funny one, right? There's elements of the film which I'm sure we'll get into at some point, which are really good, and there's elements that probably just annoyed me slightly. But I don't know how I've never come across this film before. Don't get me wrong, I know it, but I never watched it, and I just think there's a slew of 90s films very similar to this. Natural Born Killers is another one I've never seen. That maybe I was just so still in my watching 80s action movie phase. That was basically the first 20 years of my life, to be honest. So
Well, this was 93, wasn't it? So you would have still been in Arnie and Sly.
I would have just been discovering Arnie and Sly films. Did you know that Arnie did a film? Or did you know that Sly was in a film with Dolly Parton? Admittedly, I didn't know about Rhinestone until about the early 2000s. Obviously, before I still haven't either. Oh, what's the other one? Paradise Alley or whatever it's called? Still haven't seen that one.
Yeah, but isn't that supposed to be... I haven't seen that either, but hasn't that got a decent reputation?
Oh, I don't
Rhinestone's supposed to be the dodgy one, isn't it?
You surely can't get much dodgier than Oscar or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Although there's things to take away from that Stop film.
What was Oscar again? I know he was dressed up in it was like the 90s beige suit with the really small Harry Potter style glasses.
I don't remember the glasses. I remember the suit, and I haven't seen that one in so long. I get it sometimes mixed up. I think with what did he do later in life? There was a remake. Get Carter. And I don't think they're the same films, but I often get them mixed up when thinking about the covers and things. So True Romance. I always thought it was a Tarantino film, which technically it is, but it's not a Tarantino directed film. It's written. So, do you know how much of the screenplay was changed, if any? I'm looking to you, Prog. You might know a little bit more about this.
Unfortunately, but I don't know. I don't think a lot was changed. I think Tony Scott was pretty fond of the original screenplay, so...
As soon as it started, I was just like, yeah, it's Tarantino. Just by the dialogue. It's dialogue heavy, isn't it? And it's trying to be something else what a lot of other films out there were. So when did you see it, Prog? You're the only one who's got a memory of this. Is this a new thing that you saw, or was it years and years ago?
No, I think it was when I started getting into Tarantino after Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. I'm pretty sure I saw this when I was 17 or 18. So it would have been 5 years after. So I think maybe just before uni or first year of university I would have seen it. But
you didn't own it though, did you, in university?
No, I didn't, no. But I haven't watched it that many times. I've only seen this, I think, twice before watching it yesterday. So I was interested to go back to it to see what it was like.
So, your initial thoughts on it, though, did you enjoy watching it again?
Sorry, what are you asking me?
Did you enjoy watching it this time?
This time or before?
This time now. Yeah.
Yeah. I did,
only because I'm assuming that you did like it before, but I could be wrong on that.
No, I did like it before, but it didn't. What's the word? I may as well say it now. You know, I've got an issue with certain actors and where
Have you got an issue with Christian Slater?
Right. Christian Slater, I think, is a good actor, right? But I cannot handle him in certain roles. Now, I do think my opinion of him was tarnished by his involvement with Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Well, this is going to be my question: is what's your thought on him in that role? Because I think of Christian Slater, I think of Will Scarlet.
Yeah, and I hate the character of Will Scarlet in that film, and because I hate the character, I'm not fond of Christian Slater in certain roles. Now, I do like Christian Slater because I think he's very good in Heathers. What was the film he did with John Travolta? Broken Arrow. I thought he was good in that, and I also quite liked him in what's the one where he's a police officer in Morgan Freeman? Is it Hard Rain?
Oh, I don't. I'm just looking what he's been in now. He's been in Heather's True Romance.
Young Guns 2.
Is he in Young Guns 2? Oh yeah, of course, yeah. The Name of the Rose. Interview with the Black. Interview with the Vampire. Gleaming the Cube. Can't even say it. There's a film that I want to see because it's sort of billed as the first big skateboarding movie that ever came out.
Oh, I look forward to that one.
but I think it's supposed to be okay. Anyway, Pump Up the Volume, the Legend of Billie Jean, Hard Rain with Morgan Freeman.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, and Bed of Roses. See, I would have said he's done more things that I know and seen, but
he was
I don't think he has.
He was in the Amazon series Mr. Robot, I think.
Yeah, he was in The Wizard. You know, the game about Mario 3 and Nintendo.
Always around video games.
I mean, I do like Christian Slater. I think actually I prefer him in like real life setting. You know, when you see him in interviews and stuff, I like him when I see him on a chat show and stuff. But there's just certain roles where I can't, like, it doesn't project well on me.
He's got a bit of a square head, doesn't he? It's quite blocky.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I will admit.
What I was going to say what I was going to say is that when I first watched True Romance, I liked the film, but I didn't love it because Christian Slater was the lead role.
So I went into this film not really knowing much about it, and then I saw the bit with I was going to call him Jeremy Irons. It's not Jeremy Irons. What's his name?
Christopher Walken.
Famous British actor, brother of Little Mo from
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, right?
Little Mo's brother.
It's not Big Mo. Big Mo. Yeah, Big Mo. Big Mo's brother. I thought, oh yeah, of course he's in it, because I've seen like stills or clips of him doing that character, and then he dies straight away, and I was like, wow, because even in '93, he's a relatively biggish actor. Am I wrong in that? Do you think, or is he?
No, he's done quite a few roles by that time. Yeah.
Yeah, he did The Firm. Didn't he do The Fifth Element, or was that after this?
No, it would have been after. I think Fifth Element's about 95, 6.
Fifth Element was after Leon, and they both by Luc Besson.
Yeah.
But he had done Sid and Nancy by this point.
So yeah, the fact that he just dies quite early on, spoilers alert. A bit late now, but never mind. But yeah, Ev, you may as well do it now. Like, go through this cast, buddy. It's an amazing cast.
This is like my Graceland for casts. Obviously, I'm discounting Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette, and all that. Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer is the voice of Elvis.
So I read that before I started watching the movie, and I half expected to see his face, but you don't. So to have a big name, and he would have been big at this point, and to not show his face, and to not really know, because he's not using his voice. So you get what I mean? They could have had, like, any actor there, really.
I originally thought it was Brad Pitt for some reason, but obviously he comes later. Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken, Bronson Pitt, is it Pinchot, who plays Elliot, Serge from Beverly Hills Cop.
He's the one that works in the, like, art gallery.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah.
Yeah. With a little lemon twist. Yeah. Michael Rappaport, the guy who plays Dick Ritchie. I always remember him from Friends.
Phoebe's partner, wasn't he? Was he a copper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conchata Ferrell
From
Pharrell.
Two and a half men.
2.5 Men.
Yeah.
She's Bertie, I think her name was, or something. Obviously, Tony Soprano. James Gandolfini is Virgil.
He's great in it, I think.
He is, yeah. Probably part of my favourite scene in the film. Paul Bates, the guy who plays Oha in Coming to America.
She's
He's,
your queen.
Yeah. I'm not singing that again. Chris Penn and Tom Sizemore as the coppers.
So, Chris Penn, really recognisable face. What do I know him from? He's in Reservoir Dogs, isn't he?
Yeah.
I can't believe he doesn't know this. He was in Best of the Best, wasn't he?
Oh, of course. He's oh my word, what's his name? Travis, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching it last night, and I was just like, I even googled it, and Best of the Best didn't come up. Oh, it made my night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night. I'm out of here.
I'm not done. I'm only halfway. You got one of the Italian gangsters, Frankie, is a guy called Frank Adonis, who's one of the it's not Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy. It's another one in Goodfellas when they're doing the when they're doing the bar. A guy called Kevin Corrigan, who was in The Departed as Leonardo DiCaprio's cousin.
We're stretching it a bit, you know.
No. This one was one of the main ones I saw. The Italian guy who gets killed at the end, who that Chris Penn and Tom Sizemore or Chris Penn and the other guy.
Oh, he's one of the bodyguards, yeah.
Yeah. For fans of The Wire, he's Spiros, one of the Greek drug dealers in season 2 of The Wire. I'm nearly finished. Boris, one of the guys with the Uzis or the machine guns. He was the guy from American Pie 2. Was it 2 or 3? 3. Sorry, The Wedding. He's the gay dance competitor that Stifler has a dance battle with.
Yeah, don't know that one.
And last one, did you see who the captain was? Chris Penn and Tom Sizemore's boss.
Yeah.
No.
He's the coach from Youngblood.
The dad.
What's his name?
Yeah, the dad.
Oh, the dad. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, did you mention Samuel L. Jackson?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought I'd got one over on you then.
Ed Lauter, his name is.
There is someone else in this film, but you'd be forgiven not knowing that he's there because I think his scene was cut, and it was a young Jack Black. Found that out in my facts. Yeah.
Obviously Brad Pitt as well. I forgot Brad Pitt.
Floyd. Would Brad Pitt have done anything big before this?
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah. Oh, of course he had. Yeah, of course. Anna Thompson. I'm just looking at her. Who is she? Oh, she's the woman right at the beginning.
Oh, her from The Crow. Yeah. Typecast again. She always plays the misunderstood hookers.
I don't think she's a hooker in this film, or is she? She's
No,
just
I
a
think he's
woman at a bar.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
trying to pick it up, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fucking Ev projecting it.
Oh, sorry.
Fair play. It has got a bit of a cast on there, hasn't it? Who would have thought that all those people, would have gone on to whatever. And you mentioned
The guy from Renaissance Man's in as well.
Oh, whoa. Ooh, which guy?
He's got learning problems. Oh, what's his name?
The stutterer.
Yeah, he's just like Melvin. That's his name.
Oh, he's in The Rock as well.
What's his real name?
I don't know. But he's just out. He's outside the hot dog place when Christian Slater's ordering the burgers.
With the Elvis, with the magazine. With the Elvis
he's got Time magazine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, right. Come on then. Have we got a favourite aspect of this film?
The cast.
I've got the cast. I've also got a nod to the screenplay, in the sense of the dialogue and things. Yeah,
I also love the music, the main theme.
Yeah. Can I talk about that now? Then I've got it as a change.
Oh, okay, go on.
And me.
And I think it's because it's littered throughout the film, and it just got on my tits after a while. I get what you mean. It's a good, it's decent bit of music, but it just didn't stop. And it's like I'm trying to think of what instrument it was, but it was that ding 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 ding. Yeah, it
was like the pause music from Monkey Island, wasn't it?
There is a reference.
You're telling me the pause music on your computer game back in the 90s was that piece of music?
Well, it sounded like it. It was just, I'm with Anne on this. That it was just constant all the time, and it was just like it didn't fit some of the scenes. Like when it was a sort of like a heartfelt, like dramatic scene, you heard it in the background, ding 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 ding. You know.
Yeah, but this is meant to be like a fairy tale, isn't it? Like a dark like a subversive fairy tale.
That's quite an interesting concept again. And I know you hate this sort of thing when people talk about it. Is it a dream? Is it not a dream? But it has elements of that with that music for me. I know you hate it. And it's not, don't get me wrong, at no point did I ever think that. But because he has those flashes, they're not flashbacks, but he has those moments where he meets Elvis and he talks to him and things like that. That's like a dream to him, isn't it?
Well, I was gonna bring this up, right? This is one of the this is something I only thought about after watching it yesterday. It's not a problem for me, but I think you could see it as a bit of an inconsistency. If you look at the film, it's bookended by Alabama speaking, isn't it, to the audience? It's her monologuing, start and end of the film. So in a way, I'm taking it as her story, but it shows Clarence having these flights of fancy with Elvis, and I thought about it last night, and I was like, how does she know that he speaks to Elvis?
I hadn't noticed that she bookends. She's obviously talking about the end. I didn't realise it was her at the beginning.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I mean, it's not a massive thing. Like, it was just a question I had in my head where I was like, how would that work? Where if it's her story, I obviously assuming it's her story because she bookends the film, but it's not, is it? It's their story. I was just thinking, if normally when someone's monologuing in a film, it means it's their story predominant. Yeah. That's all. It was just something I thought of last night. Not a massive thing.
Have you got any favourite aspects?
Yeah, well, you touched on it really, the cast and the soundtrack and everything, and just like little things like the dialogue, especially like there's I think it's Lee, the producer, when he's in the car, he just like when the motorist gives him the finger, how he just shouts, "Don't think I'll have you killed, and just like I'd love to have the balls to say that in real life to someone. It'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I could see you as a maniacal film producer, Ev.
In his little two-seater sports car, bombing through the Los Angeles hillsides.
No. And Christopher Walken, especially, he's proper frightening. I think in just, but he's only in one scene. Well, I'd say one main scene, isn't he?
I was going to ask you boys, right? Since we've all mentioned the cast, who's your favourite in the film?
Probably Walken and Slater for me.
No, you're only allowed one.
Oh.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't pick Slater. I don't know if that's what you were getting at earlier, Prog, that you have some issues with Slater in this film. But, yeah,
Walken probably.
I think Gary Oldman is genius in this film.
I didn't realise it was him first off, like because I heard his voice and it was like, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine might be Walken. But I get what you're saying with Gary Oldman. Isn't it great how actors can have just one scene, two scenes, but are have an impact on a film like that?
You think about Walken though, around that time, he had this, and then he did Pulp Fiction with The Watch.
Yeah.
Like, those are two of the best one-off scenes you're going to see someone do.
That Watch scene is brilliant. The fact that he just memorised it, one take, bang, it's brilliant.
Kept drinking Tabasco as well on that, just to keep his keep the saliva going, didn't he?
Yeah.
Also I got to say, what a name of Dick Ritchie though. He's like a detective in the 50s. Dick Ritchie.
Yes, also. Or a reporter.
Yeah.
Going back to cast slightly, do you know that there was someone else that they potentially wanted to play Elvis?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell? I don't know the reasoning why it didn't work out, but he's the go-to, isn't he?
Yeah, he played Elvis for John Carpenter in the
TV
79 TV movie.
Yeah. I haven't seen that, actually. That's probably something I wouldn't mind watching. Maybe we can do a special.
Actually, I think that would be a decent watch.
It's finding it, isn't it, is the issue.
Is it just called Elvis?
I don't know. Yeah, we've talked about it quite a bit on this podcast, I think. Or it comes up every now and again. So... shall we go on to scenes while if anyone's looking at what that film is called? Ev, what have you got?
Yeah, I've got the scene between James Gandolfini and Patricia Arquette. I think that's really good. And surprisingly how realistic and brutal the scene is, considering it's early 90s, and you wouldn't get that, I don't know, level of, I'd say, gore or violence until later, would you? But it's
I love his change in it. Just how he is. He's calm, he's collective one minute, he's trying to get the information out of her. You can see he's sinister. Yeah. And then she fights back, tries to get away, and he just turns into a cold-blooded killer. Brilliant.
Well, apparently he got an audition for Tony Soprano based off this film.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I think one of the casting directors for The Sopranos saw the scene with Alabama, and that's how he got a callback or something.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and especially the how she goes mental at the end, because you never, well, you very rarely see that in films, do you? How someone's just you can tell they're just proper pent up with rage and they're just hammering the fuck out of someone even though they're dead. It's Do
you know what I like about that scene though? Is that it's a very it appears to be in obviously taking the circumstances into account. It seems to be a realistic way for how she would have survived that. like in her eyes, it's all desperation. She's just grabbing whatever she can because obviously James Gandolfini's a big guy. He's just going to throw her around whenever he wants at will. But she manages to just like when she chucks the shampoo in his eyes to blind him, and he's like trying to rub it out, and then she smashes him over the head of the toilet, the top of the urinal.
The sound when he gets hit, I was wincing. I was like rubbing the back of my head. Oof.
It's a good thing they got lighters lying around as well, isn't it?
Oh. Flamethrower. Brilliant. I was just looking at her filmography and TVs as well. But like, fair play. She hasn't done like massive films.
She's a great actress, so.
She is. I think she's like sort of underrated, isn't she? She's in my favourite Nightmare on Elm Street as well. Dream Warriors, number 3.
Yeah. She's good in it. I don't think I've seen her have a bad performance. Now, that's not to say that she hasn't been bad in something. But whenever I've seen a film and she turns up, I'm always content. I'm always like of the frame of mind, I know she's going to deliver. I know she's going to do her job.
She was in Ed Wood. Now, there's a film I've not seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I watched that a few years back again.
Yeah,
I don't think it's aged very well. As in, it felt very slow. But that's not to say.
She's also in Stigmata, which I wouldn't mind revisiting at some point.
I haven't seen that for years.
Who's the guy in that?
Gabriel Byrne.
Gabriel Byrne.
That's it. Yeah. You have that on DVD?
Who? Me?
No, Andrew.
Oh, I don't think so. But we did watch it quite a bit in uni because it has that scene.
Yeah.
It has that infamous scene, doesn't it, where he has a threesome with a mum and a daughter.
No, that's it. End of Days. I had that. Yeah.
We had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, guys.
No,
Jesus Christ.
every time we talk about a horror film, you still go back to the threesome scene.
The threesome with the mum and daughter. But anyway, Stigmata is a great movie. I remember it being a great movie.
We did. I swear, one of us had that on DVD in university. I swear that happened.
Oh, it wasn't me. I had End of Days, but I didn't have Stigmata.
It might be Tom then.
Who's the bad guy in End of Days? Who's the devil in that? It is Gabriel Byrne. Yeah. So that's why I'm getting confused. Okay.
No, it's not that.
Confused.
Keep trying to bring it back.
I've been searching Pornhub for this for years and never found it. Any other favourite scenes, Prog?
For me, it's 100% the Sicilian.
It's a good one, yeah.
Heritage scene between Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken. I personally think that's some of Tarantino's finest writing.
It's mad though, isn't it? Like, again, Dennis Hopper, relatively small part. Christian Walken, relatively small part.
Do you know what I love about that scene though, right? Is that because obviously I've seen the film a couple of times beforehand, but when I watched it last night, I was almost gearing myself up for that scene because I was like, is this going to be as good as I remember it being? But also, I was watching for other stuff. So I was watching Hopper, like his reactions as the character when Christopher Walken is not looking at him or like trying to read, because I like trying to work out why someone is saying something. And to me, it's very evident that the reason Hopper is saying what he's saying is because he knows he's dead. He knows he's going to die. And also, he's trying to find a way to get a rise out of Walken's character, so Walken will just kill him straight away without torturing him.
Yeah. I took it as he's a cop. He's an ex-copper. He knows exactly who this bloke is because he's heard of him, or he's heard of the boss as well. And he knows I'm dead. He's going to try and get as much information out of me as possible, and then I'll probably I'll be tortured along the way. So yeah.
And he's playing on. What's the character's name? I don't want to say Waltgun because it's not him as it is.
Is it Vincent?
Vincenzo Cocotti?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So obviously Hopper's character is playing on Cocotti's pride of like being Sicilian and like how like I don't know if you might be right, Dan. You might know already like the attitudes of Italians or Sicilians towards, or certainly the mafia towards black people. But the fact that he's trying to play on that to get a rise out, I just love that scene. I just think it's great. Like, and obviously the acting is brilliant.
I find that scene, right, obviously is quite high dialogue heavy. And especially when he's telling the story about how people from Sicily have been impregnated from people from Africa or whatever, yeah. And I've never seen a scene use the N-word so many times with just white actors in it. And if you think about it, there's two types of N-words that you can use, and I don't believe we can say either of them. But it's a really powerful scene, really powerful scene.
But it makes the thing is, right? It makes sense in that scene to use that word because it's all about Dennis Hopper sticking a needle in that guy and getting him to do what Dennis Hopper wants him to do.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't use the word, the speech doesn't have the power that he wants it to have.
No. We have this conversation at times, don't we, about whether you can say certain words in film and whatever. And I think you were the first to bring this up, that it's often acceptable to use it because or for an actor to say it because that's what the character would say. The character is a piece of work, so they would use a racial slur or they would use a certain word to, just be vile.
Yeah, I mean it's the same as like if there's a horrible character in a film, like the stereotypical bad guy. To me, him doing something bad is the same as saying something bad. So if he's going to do something bad, why wouldn't you have him say something bad? Like that's never made any sense to me. So, but it's just in this scene, it's the reverse, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually a character that you quite like, or like the small time you've had with him, you've like seen that he actually cares about his son. He used to be an alcoholic. He's tried to change his ways. He wants to help his son, protect his son. So you're on his side, but the word is used differently. So you're not looking at him as a bad... I just think you shouldn't be looking at him as a bad person. He's using that word for effect and to affect a certain response in Christopher Walken's character. And that's why that's part of the reason why I love the scene.
Yeah. Any other notable scenes before we move on? I'm looking at you, Ev.
I got a couple of just comments, not scenes or anything. Always the blue light when there's a sex scene. Always the blue light in the background. Top Gun had it.
The UV.
Yeah. Highlander had it. True Romance had it. Yeah.
It's to look for cum stains, isn't it? Like CSI.
It's to see where you're shooting, isn't it? Have you shared a favourite scene, and?
Mine was Tony Soprano.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know his character name.
I gotta say, I do love the Gary Oldman scenes as well, though. I think I just love Gary Oldman in this film. I think he's class.
Oh, brilliant. I do have a scene, and it's not what you're going to think, right? But I sat down to watch this film, and I think this movie, is it produced by Morgan Creek? Or whoever the studio is, or wherever the production. Yeah. And they used a theme, and I was just like,
yeah,
it's Robin Hood! Because they used the Robin Hood theme.
I know!
And it's that.
Yeah.
And straight away I was just like, well, I'm in already. And it's not even Robin Hood.
I'm going to say this now, right? That theme, I think, is what is top 5 greatest pieces of music ever in film. Genuinely.
And because I haven't seen Prince of Thieves for quite a long time, and I know I love it. I haven't heard that music for a long time. So when it came on last night or whenever I watched it, I was just like, oh, this is amazing. And made me want to watch Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So I haven't got a favourite scene other than what has been said, to be honest.
Okay.
Ev, any more?
No, just some of the dialogue I think is really good. Like Christian Slater's line at the end where like he's pouring sugar in the coffee, and he just says, "I'm not satisfied till the spoon stands up." I just really like that line. And also you can tell it's Tarantino because some of the lines in the film he uses in Reservoir Dogs as well. Like there's a line where it says like, "Little I Joe to a damned if I know." That's he uses exactly the same line in Reservoir Dogs when Mr. Orange's handler is talking to him about Mr. White.
Well, I've got a little bit on this about Reservoir Dogs because he wrote the two screenplays, I think roughly the same time, and he knew that he didn't have enough sort of sway, or he wasn't big enough to direct both the movies at the same time, and maybe he didn't have enough time as well. So he gave both scripts to Tony Scott and said, "You pick one, I'll do the other one." And although Scott, he wanted to do both of them, I think in the end he ended up choosing True Romance, and then that's what left us with Tarantino for Reservoir Dogs. Which but didn't he write this? Because he did Natural Born Killers, the screenplay, didn't he, for that as well? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read it, and I haven't got it in my notes, that he read it as the same sort of universe, and the films were, or the idea was the same, and then he ended up cutting elements of Natural Born Killers out to make Natural Born Killers. Does that make any sense? Sorry. Yeah. So he had one big idea and then got two films out of it.
Yeah, that's possible. But what I will say is that the finished version of Natural Born Killers is quite changed from his original screenplay.
All right. Who directed that? Sorry, putting you on. Okay. Yeah. Right, come on, let's talk about some changes. And I haven't got many. We've mentioned the music. I don't think we need to touch on that much else. I don't think the music's bad. It just got on my tits a little bit after a while. And I think that possibly the same with you, Ev.
Yeah.
One issue I have with the movie is they've only just met. They spend one night together. They have sex, and they love each other. And don't get me wrong, we've all been dumb and young and full of cum, but like, come on, it's not love.
Do you know what I think? Surprisingly for Tarantino, I do think that particular section, there's about 5 to 10 minutes, isn't there, of them two at the movies, and then having pie, and then having sex, and then they say they're in love with one another. So weirdly, watching it last night, I thought it was underwritten or underdone in terms of the believability of them falling in love. Like, yeah. I think if you'd spent an extra few minutes with them, and like they had all this stuff in common, or they were like, you know, they were having dialogue. Like, it was weird because obviously Tarantino's so good at dialogue. I just think it was one of those moments where I was like, you can tell he's almost not starting out, but he's kind of finding his feet with certain areas of perhaps screenplays. And I just think I'm with you. I think that first portion, because look, it's meant to be like this, you know, romantic fairy tale, and you know, once they say they're in love, when I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, they say they're in love, I'm just going to go along with it. And I think through the course of the film, you can tell that they're in love because of how they are with each other and how they act with one, you know, when something goes wrong with one another, you know. So I think it's played out very well. I think I'm with you where the origin of how they fall in love is not quite right.
For me, it's not love, it's infatuation. You know, they just met each other, and you know, and there's two elements which for me then becomes believable. You've got him, Christian Slater, Clarence, who's obviously a bit of a loner, right? His boss has just bought him a hooker for the night, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You know, obviously doesn't get out much. Every year on his birthday, he goes to the cinema on his own, right? He obviously hasn't got many friends, maybe socially not very adept. And then you've got her, who's in probably quite a tragic life. She's a hooker, she's got a pimp, it's probably not great. So I get that they come together and they've each now got someone who's willing to probably talk to them, listen to them, and just maybe like care for them, right? I do get it, but it does seem a bit rushed. It's one night, sick.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's a small little gripe more than a change.
I mean, in fairness to the film, you know, that's not the point of the film, is it? How they fall in love. The point of the film is that they are in love and they're going on this journey together. So it's a means to an end to get you into the rest of the movie. It's just, when you look at a film like this, who's directed by Tony Scott and written by Quentin Tarantino, I do find it funny sometimes when, with Tarantino, you think, oh, he could have done better there. And because I don't often think that.
Yeah. And you got to remember, this one of his first screenplays.
Exactly.
He's still finding his feet.
And don't get me wrong, like, it's not like I don't think there's any connection between them, or like I'm not believing that they're having a good time with each other. It's nothing like that. It's just the jump to love is a bit much.
Yeah. And ultimately it might not be Tarantino. There might be another scene in there somewhere which was written and Tony Scott decided it's not needed.
Maybe.
So,
you
just don't know, do you? And then I've got a couple of other little things that'll come up in a moment, but ultimately not enough Gary Oldman, not enough Christian Walken. We've mentioned it, so we don't need to go on anymore. And that's probably it for me for changes. What else have people got?
Well, I personally wouldn't. I would rather someone else other than Christian Slater in the lead role. But
well, here's a question then. Who would you have?
Kurt Russell.
No, he's too old at this point.
Too old, yeah.
You're looking at someone who's like late 20s, there.
So could you have someone who might have been a Brat Pack individual, or would they have been too old as well?
That would have pissed me off. I'm not a massive fan of the Brat Pack. I think they're good, but I think they're better as a collective rather than leading a film.
Eric Stoltz, maybe.
No. I was thinking about who's around at that time, like who's starting at like Keanu Reeves or Michael J. Fox or something. They would have been like late 20s, early 30s around then, wouldn't they? But I don't think both of them would have been quite right. You need, like, one thing I will give Christian Slater is that he is believable as this loner character. You can't have someone who's like you couldn't put Brad Pitt in that role.
Well, I was going to ask, could you have had Brad Pitt? Same sort of age? Is it, or is he too?
So. Brad Pitt's too good looking.
No.
I'm just googling young actors in the 90s.
Who was that you said before Michael J. Fox? Just then?
Keanu Reeves. Like I'm thinking of the big actors then. Now, when it's like Tom Hanks would have been early 30s at that point, but you're not going to put Tom Hanks in this. As much as I love Tom Hanks, and we all know Adam would have said Mel Gibson, but
everyone. Yeah, like everyone I'm finding is probably just a little bit too young.
River Phoenix.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi.
Jesus, what?
Alright.
Nicolas Cage. There we go.
Oh,
yeah.
You've just nailed it. I would absolutely have had Nicolas Cage in this.
I would have paid to see Nicolas Cage in it. Whether he would have been any good, I don't know.
Well, what are you on about Wed? It's always good.
Nicolas Cage.
He ended up being married to Patricia Arquette, didn't he?
He was. Weren't they separated for years? But like, didn't really tell anyone that they were separated. Come on, what are the changes we got?
I got a couple. Why didn't Clarence take his wallet? he could have avoided all the hassle if he just would have taken his wallet and the driving license back when he killed Gary Oldman.
Yeah, but you're expecting someone to think with a clear head after they've just blown someone away, and
I just got
Who's
beaten
never
to
done it
shit and
before?
back.
Yeah,
Well,
I get what you're saying, like, but I mean, in those moments, I would imagine your head's all over the place. So
I suppose, yeah. Next one, when Clarence introduces Alabama to his dad, and like they're saying goodbye, she's getting off with his dad right in front of him.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to explain that one to me, right? Again, is it because we led to believe she's possibly socially inept, doesn't know maybe what to do in the right situations? We don't know how long she's been a prostitute. Could have been like a child prostitute going.
no, she'd only been a prostitute for
for like 2 weeks or something,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. So I didn't get that bit either, but I just get her. She was excited.
Also, she's probably just trying to make a good impression.
Necking him.
I know, yeah. Yeah, and then having sex in a phone booth in the middle of the day, on the side of a busy like highway.
It's fine before the days of mobile phones.
Busy, though. I didn't take it. That was a busy highway.
Well, there was about 4 trucks gone past before he even, penetrated, shall we say?
Yeah, but you're thinking now you're in the middle of nowhere. But they're driving across country. They would have been driving for hours to get to where they were going. So, I personally was taking it that it was a relative. Well, I'm taking it that they didn't give a shit. But
oh yeah,
it could have very easily been a fairly quiet road, and the only people that go past there are trucks.
All the time.
Look at him trying to act all coy and like he wasn't a showman back in the day.
And we didn't even get her on camera when he started talking about her boobs before we pressed record.
Slander, that's what it is. Just add it to the list. Add it to the list. Rehab, all that. Like, yeah.
Come on, what else you got, Ev?
That's it. I'm done.
I've got one final one. Who has a phone in their toilet? Right, don't get me wrong, I know back in the day you used to have mega long cords and leads, but he was on the toilet and then he answered the phone. So it's not like he took the phone in the toilet with him. I'm talking about his mate, the actor
Michael
mate.
Rappaport. Yeah, I took that he was waiting for a call back on his audition.
And how did he get that audition? Is it because he had linked up the producer? Because he's not a great actor, is he?
No, it was through Elliot, wasn't it? Elliot's his mate.
It was that. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I read it as that, but I don't think it was that stated. So, couple of things before we go on to the final question. Elvis Presley's estate wouldn't allow them to use any of his music in the movie. I don't know the reason why, whether it was deemed to be violent. I'm not entirely sure. From a budget point of view, I think about 12.5 million was spent on the movie, and it only returned 12.6.
It would have made that back on the DVDs, though.
Yeah. But it probably would have been deemed to have been a flop, in box office eyes, sort of thing. Which,
with the Elvis thing though, Val Kilmer sings a little bit of Heartbreak Hotel, didn't he? Surely they'd have to pay a bit of money for that though.
I think if you only sing a certain amount of words, you're okay.
But also, is Heartbreak Hotel one of Elvis's songs?
If it was written by someone else.
Yeah, because back in the day, because Elvis, I don't think many of the songs that he sang wouldn't necessarily have been his songs, if that makes any sense. Other artists would have done them, and things.
I just remember the same situation in the Jack Black film School of Rock, because he quotes For Those About to Rock by AC/DC, and he said there was more money spent on him quoting that line than there was in getting any other song in the film.
It could well be that they picked a song then that was already not in the public domain, but has been done by a number of artists as well.
I've just read now. Elvis Presley was one of the songwriters for Heartbreak Hotel, but he wasn't the only one.
Well, I put money on it. His name was just put on that, but yeah, or maybe they could, maybe they argued something different. Who knows? Right then, final question. Ev, would you recommend?
Yes, but I think a little caveat to that. I think if, as much as I like Tony Scott and the films he directs, like Crimson Tide being one of them, if Tarantino had directed this as well as Reservoir Dogs, I think it would have been a better film.
Oh, wow.
Prog?
Oh yeah, I'd recommend this. Yeah, I think it's a very enjoyable film.
Yeah, no caveat from me. I'd 100% recommend. I thought it was. I really enjoyed it. Fair play. Ev, I'm gonna look to you, mate. Fancy doing the Wheel of Death, Doom, whatever we call it. We gotta come up with a more better name.
All right, hold on.
I might need to.
Well, the way the last couple of weeks have gone, it's been the Wheel of absolute filth.
Right.
So
that was our last one, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we've only got Frailty as a listener recommendation.
Okay.
House of the Dead is the booby movie.
Go on then, Prog. You can go first.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
I am not picking this until it comes out.
I before E. Yeah. And next one.
Can you come back to me? Because I don't know at the moment.
All right, go on then. And
Elvis, the TV movie. Finding it is going to be the bloody issue.
Can we stick to Netflix, people, please?
Starship Troopers.
all right.
Showgirls.
No, The Paper, because that's got to go in.
Mr. Mom.
God. No. Prog, give me your other one, because I'm still thinking.
You know what? I'm just gonna go back to what I did last week. No Way Out. Because I'm still interested to see what that looks like now.
No Retreat, No Surrender.
Yeah, go on. I'm going to put Hard to Kill.
Oh my word! There's a bloody mix of films, isn't it?
I know. Nice.
Come on, Prince of Thieves. It's not even my movie, but I'm wishing for it.
Hard to Kill. Yeah.
Oh no!
What's Hard to Kill?
Seagal, isn't it? You can take that to the bank. The blood bank.
Oh, why do you pick Under Siege? Hard to Kill.
You've done Under Siege, haven't
No, we didn't. It was the first ever one. It lasted 3 hours. We decided then to
put it out.
There is a saving grace in this, and Kelly LeBrock is in it.
Oh no! It's that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Detective Mason wakes up from a 7-year coma. I love it because he's gonna wake up and he's gonna I bet just karate straight out of bed.
Mason Storm, isn't it?
I have actually watched this a couple of months ago.
Is this a sequel to one of his other ones?
No.
No, you're thinking of Nico. That was the I can't remember that one. But
Nico is the one that's got 2 names, isn't it? We know it as Nico, but it's also called something else.
Yeah.
Nico's one where he blows that guy's kneecap off, isn't it?
I think Nico is the one where he's the bad guy and he's called Screwface. Above the Law, that's what it's called. Nico. Anyway, podcasts come out every Wednesday, Thursday. Check out our social media, check out our YouTube channel. And if you want us to do a film in the future, let us know, because we need some listener recommendations or listener requests. Let's call it that. Right, cheers all.